Another thing too is quite a while ago. Well, there was a lot of talk about in Germany and things like going after people that had beards and stuff like that. And I wasn't really going after people with beards. I just wanted people with beards to look presentable, and as well as it's mostly the people that were in my military service, as well as the people that were going to be in the food service industry and stuff like that. Because losing hair and also just looking like you're someone that's professional, looking professional, like clean shirt, you know, collars that match, stuff like that. I mean, I was a very wealthy person and very rich person, and also like the creator of life forms, so I wanted my life forms to look good and presentable. So, like, if you were going to be working for Lucifer or White Star Lines, you would, trim the beard and, as well as, have it inside some sort of shape or some sort of a way, or cut hair, not just like poof ball or just like, whatever, but actually a nice clean haircut, which I don't really have right now, but still mostly shave, mostly clean and all that. But I mean, professional looking, and stuff like also for my flight stewardesses. And yes, the skirts were a little too short. And I'm sorry about that. It's just that my women of my countries looked very, 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 very attractive, and I wanted to show off how attractive they looked. So the first flight stewardess uniforms were a little bit skimpy, I admit, and I'm sorry about that, women. I love you very much, and you are amazing, and everything else like that. But I was trying to promote, well, both the clothing industry as well as my aircraft, and I knew that they looked really good. So I wanted them to show off and show the world what it's like to be in America and part of American Airlines and all that kind of stuff. So with the best looking women, I moved forward, and they were hugely popular and all that stuff. So anyway, though, that was just one side of me, and then later on I let them adjust their clothing and everything proportionately to what they would wear, and chose to wear, something that they liked. But also, anyway, though, whatever, I left it up to my people to some extent. I didn't micromanage my people like crazy. I just kind of like, well, guidelines and the rest of it, so it was like letting people make their own decisions and choose things, as long as it was within the guidelines of everything else like that. And also making sure that they were safe and protected. Like I said, there were fighter aircraft that would actually fly escort with my American airliners. So because I mean, there are people trying to shoot down aircraft and stuff like that, and I didn't want that, and that would reflect badly upon my company as well as who I was. And so since I had P-51s and other fighter aircraft, I had them doing fighter escorts and stuff like that during times of war and other things, because I didn't want anybody to get hurt while flying. I took very good care of my civilian populations, and generally civilian aircraft wouldn't be actually shot at by a military aircraft anyway. At least they should not. The rules of war, stuff like that, the Geneva Convention, all that stuff. That was partly me. So anyway, not that anybody knew it or would admit it, but yes, basically proper war, or at least the war that I would fight. Because, well, I mean, I had jets and aircraft and was basically like, Lucifer Star, LSF-A colony ship and SR-71, and basically like tanks with armor, with superior armor and also armor piercing ammo. So like squashing people wasn't the problem. I just, children, stop playing around. It's time to get serious, and stuff like that. And then at some point in time, some group was like, "Rah!" And I was like, okay. The gloves are off. Because I wasn't going to let my people, I mean, my people weren't supposed to shoot first, but they're not supposed to just sit there and die either. So whatever happens after that, well, whatever. I don't really know. And Nixon, like I say, Nixon was probably not a good person, but, I mean, what he did, he should have just been plain and open about it, because, I mean, if it was legitimate and real and basically like, well, they were doing this and we had to do that, then, I mean, but probably Nixon, probably JFK, he was, very much a liar and basically someone trying to take over a government. At one point in time, the biggest drug dealer, or whatever, I don't really know. I don't care. Like, whatever, he's dead. He's gone. And I'm still alive, so. Anyway, whatever. So anyway, though, but he left a couple little favors for me, like constant annoyance and also other things. But like I said, at some point in time, Nixon was stealing from me and stuff like that. And then people tried to steal from Nixon, which, yeah, he wasn't like me at all. There were, like I say, there's me and then there's other people, everyone else. And a lot of, well, I'm nice and kind and the real creator and truth, honesty, and technology and everything else. What other people are, well, there are those psycho people out there that just don't give a fuck, and while being in my presence or my good graces and all that would earn you certain benefits of being, epic with me and stuff like that, being whatever, and then trying to steal from, lots of people tried to steal from me, but the people ended up trying to steal from Nixon and JFK and all those other people. And so when that happened, well, they were psycho. But they were psycho anyway, so. Yeah, whatever. I don't really care. It's like, well, what happened between 1940, 1920s and 1960, 70, that was, a lot of that was Nixon, JFK, and other people. And they're dead. So, anyway, and probably tortured. So. Nixon, JFK, and the Congress was mostly scared of me because, like, as soon as I told people who I was and even a little bit about me, the overwhelming support for me was like total. And basically, besides, it was technology. I had hot running water on all my ships. So people were like, hot bath. How cool is that? It's like, yeah, no more cold showers. Hot water on all my ships, and hot water in most of my towns. So everyone could take a nice hot shower and all that. So, and people were like, and baths and stuff like that. So providing that to people basically was almost like providing drugs. People loved it. People were like, and food. Yes, and regular food and stuff like that. So anyway, though, there were a lot of things about Lusifer White Star Lines that changed everything. Because I could ship food at any point in time or any time of the year. If a country needed extra food or extra rice, it could be provided to them, by my ships. And I actually had rice going bad in ships because it was left as reserve or whatever, and wasn't needed. So like I said, we held it for as long as we could, for sale, and then if there was extra, then it just goes to whoever needs it. So people in other countries benefited by that greatly, because it's like, well, it's going to go bad in about a month. So, all right. And rice is one of those things that where if it's stored properly, it can last a really, really long time. So anyway, and it was a good fallback food. So anyway, for a lot of countries, and a lot of countries go, rice. It's like, yeah, well, it's better than nothing. Maybe add some stew or something. I don't know. You can cook it up or something. So, and also grain, wheat, and stuff like that. Although it doesn't last quite as long. But anyway, getting food to last was a huge part of Lusifer Star America, Germany, basically. Started out in Germany, and we were working on the pasteurization, and didn't quite have it down yet. So, but then later on, we got pasteurization better. So, anyway, and that's all part of Lusifer Star, Germany, and me, Brian. So, anyway, flight. Aircraft also helped a lot too. So steamships, aircraft, sails, textiles, I could run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like I said, the things that basically make civilization possible. So anyway, and I'm like, whatever. Also board games and stuff like that to occupy people so they wouldn't think about going out and killing or robbing. Keep your mind off, in order to keep your mind off sex. So, things for the kids to play with and stuff like that. I really cared about children and thought that children were going to be children are always a huge part of the civilization. Not today, but tomorrow or the next day, in a few short years, children become very relevant. So, have to treat them right. And so children were raised up to be proper and have manners and everything else like that. And not just be gunslinging crazy people. So, anyway, and that's a big part of civilization too. You know, like I told all my leaders, you know, your civilization rides on the backs of your children, basically.